Burn.
Hi. And we almost had a nice intro again. Almost.
Does
Hi.
anyone expect that at this point?
We can surprise them.
There's the fun in that.
Anyway, moving right along. This is episode 33 of the AKS. Oh, AKS Knits and Crochets. I'm trying that out now. Let me know what you guys think of that. We can't be Yarniacs.
Why not?
It already exists.
Who's the Yarniac?
They've been doing it for about 10 years now. Yeah. We can't jack their name. They're too old. I'm Lisa.
I'm Chris.
Okie dokie.
I happen to be a Yarniac, just so we're clear.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Anyway, I'm trying out AKS Knits and Crochets. So the name evolves. And we'll let you know how it goes.
I can already tell you that one's a stinker.
Oh. Oh.
That'll be this episode's name.
Oh. Well, you can come up with the next one.
We should have some names in a jar and pick one every week.
Oh, that would be so sad. I really feel that saddened me. I don't want to. I don't want to be that podcast. I don't want to be that podcast. Like, oh, they change the name every week and they just pick a name out of a jar.
What's in a name? You know, we're still just gonna be kooky chicks talking about yarn.
Well, on that rather cheerful note,
kooky yarn chicks.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm going to make a note of that.
That'll be next week's episode.
You know what? That will at least be the name of this episode. Kooky Yarn Chicks. There we go. I'm going to put that in my notes.
Oh, she's actually putting it in her notes. Oh, do we have a list this week?
Yes, we have a list. Yes, we have a list. There we go.
Oh, look at you.
Okay, you go first because I'm writing my note.
Honestly, I haven't had a lot of movement in Crochetville. It's been all about sewing the last week. And I'm very excited about all the sewing stuff. Oh, I ordered and then received my Letterlow system. So it's like here, and I've actually used it. And I ordered it, and it's one of those places where you order online and you don't get an order confirmation. So it just went off into the ether, and I was just like, well, did I order it? Did the tree fall in the forest? I don't know. But it came just like 4 days later. I didn't know where they were shipping from, but they shipped from Florida. And I got it just a few days after I ordered it. And if you don't know, this is the Letterlow system. And I watched a lot of videos about it, so I felt, fairly confident purchasing it. It's just a system for drafting patterns yourself so that hopefully I will have better fit than I had when I was using Simplicity patterns, because that was just driving me nuts. But so my mom, I kept showing her videos, and she was really struggling to understand what the Letterlow system was and how you use it. I seem to have made a convert of her, but I will just give you a quick idea. So say you wanted to make one of these things. On the back, you have a little miniature of the pattern pieces, and the system tells you how to scale that up to your actual size. And I tried it. I was looking through the book to find what I thought would be the easiest pattern. And I found a skirt that had only 2 pattern pieces. So it's this skirt right here, little short skirt. And I tried drafting a pattern for it, and I made it out of muslin. But for the fact that I actually just legit forgot to sew the darts in the back of the skirt, it would have actually fit perfectly. The waist was too big because I didn't do those darts. The darts were on the pattern piece. I was a little excited and a little bit tired by then. Yeah. Because I'd also drafted a pattern for shorts and made that out of muslin. So I made both of those the same day. So by the time we got to the skirt, I did miss a detail. But that was enough to just give me a bit of confidence in the Letterlow system. And y'all, now I'm ready. I'm so ready. I also tried drafting some shorts from a sewing textbook that teaches you how to make basic pattern blocks. And the shorts were not perfect, not by a long shot. They had some issues, but some of those were like just mistakes that I made, things that I need to correct, and some of them were things that I'm just not sure I understood properly from the textbook. So I will probably just try that again. But I did end up with a muslin for a pair of shorts that I was even able to pull up past my knees. Because, that's now like what I look for in a pair of
now
shorts.
You have that as a standard.
Very low bar. But so yesterday I was in my sewing room the whole day, drafted the shorts, made the shorts, drafted the skirt, made the skirt. Happy with the results, and I'm just ready to get my sew on. Y'all don't understand. I have so much like sew energy happening, and I'm like mad excited about it.
Big sew energy, huh? Okay. So how did you have a hard time with the system with the pivoting?
Not at all.
Wow.
The only thing is, I just need like a small piece of foam board to make the push pin go in. It's a thing where you put a push pin in and then you move the tape measure around to make some dots, and then you connect those dots to make a pattern piece.
The lady that we were watching tonight, she had just a piece of cardboard under there.
Yeah.
And we get cardboard all the time.
So I just need something to stick the push pin into. But I just pushed really hard into the table. The table's from IKEA, so
yeah.
You can stick a push pin in it if you really want to.
Got strong thumbs.
Don't start. She swears I have an inordinately strong fingers. It's not a thing. That's not a thing. Anyway, but no, I didn't have any trouble with that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Because I started watching the videos too, and I'm so curious about the system. And I'm just, can I tell you, when we were looking at that woman doing the video, when she finished and she had a pattern piece, I was like, presto, changeo, amazing.
Mom, and I guess you too, like they both, when I saw the videos and I saw what people were doing, I was like, that's brilliant. Oh my God, I think that would so work. For Mom and Lisa, they were like both completely like confused, like, but how does that work? What are they doing exactly? And my mom said she had no faith in the whole connecting the dots thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, how are you just going to connect dots and have a pattern piece? And then when she saw me actually do it, she was like, apparently I wasted all my time and money going to FIT. I could have just been connecting the dots. I don't think it was a waste. Let me tell you why it wasn't a waste. Because what Letterlow does not give you is a single solitary instruction for sewing a garment together. Not even a hint, not even like, you might want to, or like referring you to a website or nothing. So you are completely on your own for the sewing. They are just a methodology for drafting my patterns. So I, would have struggled a lot more without my mom there. So I definitely need to do some more reading about just basic garment construction, because this thing has everything from like, it has dresses, pants, skirt, shorts. It has formal wear. There's a wedding dress in there. It has lingerie. It has bras and panties. It has swimwear.
Wow.
And there is a pattern for a shearling coat.
No.
I don't know who supposed to make that, but so you can be as ambitious as you would like to be with the Letterlow system. I told you I found the one pattern in there that literally has like 2 pieces. And that's what I made. I was like, okay, I know what an A-line skirt is supposed to be. This is where I will start. But that was my proof of concept, and it worked out well. But yeah, I just need to learn a little bit more a lot more about garment construction. But right now I have a coach, so I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad she went to FIT.
Yeah, me too, right?
Because there's a lot more to it than just connecting the dots.
All right, girl.
But yeah, I just spent the whole day yesterday, so I was tired when I was done. I'm like,
it's work. Okay,
and I'm sewing at a standing desk too, so I didn't sit for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
It was so worth it.
All right. Shall I go now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you guys. First of all, I looked at the latest issue. It's new to me. The latest issue of Knitty magazine. You knitters out there, have you guys checked out Knitty lately? I know back in the day we were all like buzzing about Knitty, but this season, I think this is the spring summer 2022. I really like the patterns, and all the patterns in Knitty magazine are free. It is a free online magazine. Do check it out. I wanted to share just a couple with you. This one really caught my eye from the very first. Look at that. And there is a matching camisole. There's a pattern for it also in the.
What's that made out of?
It's probably some sort of cotton. Yeah, that's that. I'm so curious about this yarn. It's made of a yarn called Fiber Natura Papyrus. And it's cotton and silk.
Okay.
I always think it's made out of paper because they call it papyrus, but
yeah, it's not.
It's not. It's not made of paper. Don't worry about it. You can actually
that
wash
other
this.
yarn from Nora is made of paper.
Yes, slightly.
Don't get it wet, y'all.
Don't. They tell you don't get it wet.
Your sweater will become paper mache.
This is the matching camisole. But like I said, I'm kind of on the lookout right now for summery patterns.
This yarn right there from Virgo. What is that?
That's probably you know what that looks like? Pixel.
I don't think Pixel came in those colors.
They have new colors of Pixel now.
Whatever that is, I need some of that. It's very pretty.
Okay, who got distracted by the squirrel this time? I would like the record to show that one got caught by the squirrel this time.
Show them the yarn, and you can see what happened. What had happened up in the top in the corner, but that yarn from Morocco. Look at that, those pastels and the stripes. That's really pretty.
I suspect strongly that is Pixel.
I'm gonna need me some of that. I still haven't bought any yarn this year. Just that one ball yarn I got from Denmark. I've been so.
You forgot about your wool walk yarn?
Oh, that's right.
Now
let me tell you something. Because Wool Walk, I was just like supporting the local yarn stores because I wanted to support the local yarn stores. But I didn't buy what I would normally buy if I was like going on a proper wool walk. So it only sort of counts.
But
I mean, one ball from each store.
It adds up to quite a lot of yarn.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've been on the lookout, kind of on the hunt for summer patterns. As a matter of fact, my newsletter for the rest of the summer, I'm going to be sending out summery knitting patterns and probably a summery crochet pattern. I usually do one of each when I send out patterns, just because I think it's kind of crazy the way people say, oh, it's too hot to knit or it's too hot to crochet in the summer. Because we've always been year-round yarn crafters. In the summer, I will probably just switch to a lighter weight yarn. You know, give me my cottons, give me my silk, give me my linen. But do check it out. I highly recommend this issue of Knitty. They've got some really fun stuff. And all the patterns in it are free. Unfortunately, it is exclusively a knitting magazine, so there's only knitting patterns. Oh, Lordy.
I mean, it just seems like they could put out a call to crochet designers as well and get some crochet patterns in there. It doesn't seem like it'd be any more trouble than, putting a knitting pattern online. But okay.
Moving right along. Okay, I feel like I've got myself in the ditch. So, Crystal has coined the phrase PIP for projects in planning. I'm coining the phrase POP for projects on pause.
Oh.
Yes.
Is it the blanket?
Yeah, it's totally the blanket.
Yeah. No one wants to make a temperature blanket. They're awful.
I like it. I really do like it.
Just dragging one project out for a whole year.
I've got a nice bit of blanket happening here, but I have not been working on it. It always gets I always deprioritize it when I have a crunch on something else. So, although I do have some blanket,
Girl, you got you a kerchief.
oh, I got the front of a
She
sweater.
keeps trying to call it a blanket. I don't know.
And she keeps denying it as blanketness. Okay, don't deny it.
But yeah, I couldn't see me working on one project little by little by little by little for a year.
I'm gonna keep on working on it. So what I did this week was my project's on pause. I have 2 of them. I made a plan for getting back on track with them. Yeah. I made a plan for getting back on track with them. So for my blanket, I'm going to work on it every time we do sit and stitch because it's a simple thing. And if I get into conversation, because that's what happens to us sometimes. On Sundays on Zoom, I host a knitting and crochet get together called Sit and Stitch. It's Sundays from 1 to 3 Eastern time. You guys are invited, by the way. Drop on in. You can find the link on a Knit Sheep Instagram, a Knit Sheep Facebook, and right on my a Knit Sheep website. But we get to talking, we get to laughing, we get to telling stories, and sometimes we get to ripping out because we weren't paying attention to what we were doing. So I try to have something simple on hand to work on while we do sit and stitch. So this is going to be my sit and stitch project. So at least every week I'm going to hit it. So that's my bottom line for this one. And I think that's a good process. If you want to clear some projects, designate the time that you're actually going to work on it and work on it at that time. But yeah, I still like my blanket, but I haven't hit it for a while. So I got to get back on it.
Like, no. A year of my life working on one thing? Oh, jeez.
Well, I like it, and at the end, I'm going to have a nice cozy blanket. By winter, I'll have something I can snuggle under as I work on it.
We shall see.
Oh, ye of little faith. And I'm just working this out of a bunch of yarns from my stash. I had a bunch of wool and wool blends, and I just pulled out some colors and went with it. My other project on pause are my Alvar socks.
Wait. This is what happens when you have so many projects going at once.
Well, I only have 3.
This is what happens when you have
I know, in your opinion, 3 too many.
2 too many.
Oh, well, there you go. So I have them both done. My heels are done. And now I'm working my way up the leg on my socks. So I've also designated a time that I'm going to work on these. I'm just going to hit them until they're done. But I still like these socks. I can't wait to wear them. And I'm still working from the tangle. So those are my 2 projects on pause. What I'm working on actively now is my Zana cardigan. And I'll be revealing the full finished object during the Summer Yarny YouTube Hop. That's going to be on June 21st. So that's what I've got. I see you have something over there in the corner, though. What you got?
See what had happened was we moved our store into the Creek Mercantile, and then we moved out of the Creek Mercantile, and someone else moved into our space. So we happened to stop by the shop that is now in the space we used to be in, and then we found some things. So clearly there's no hard feelings.
None. What's the name of the shop?
Caravan. The
yeah.
shop is called Caravan, and it's like a bohemian garment shop. And I found three, I tell you, skirts that are each 100% silk. And, I'm trying to sew from, I'm getting my fabric from thrifted garments, and I really want to use some finer fabrics, but I was like, what are the chances that I'm going to find something really nice at a thrift store? And then lo and behold, I just like hit the jackpot, and I found 3 silk skirts. So I have them here. You know what though? Someone, the little strings that you're supposed to hang it from?
Yeah.
Someone cut them out of the skirt. I can see where they used to be.
Oh, how weird. Okay.
But this is one skirt. It's like a blue and black kind of, yeah, you see that? Ooh, I like that. That's so pretty. And like, look how it flows. I've washed these. So I found some instructions on Martha Stewart's website for how to hand wash silk, and I just used my wool wash for it. And so these have all been clean.
So let me tell you, there apparently washing silk by hand does something miraculous to you, because somebody was actually singing while she was washing her silk skirts. Just like it was like,
so
when Snow White was doing the housework for the 7 dwarves and the birds were coming and helping and all that. I thought the woodland creatures were going to come and help.
I was very happy, okay? It was like a day or two after I had found them, and I was just like, I still can't believe I found these silk skirts. And I think they're all like different kinds of silk. Now this one still had the original store tags on it. This is from, what is the store called? French Connection. And I honestly think it's kind of a hideous skirt. I'm looking forward to turning it into something else. It's just kind of matronly. But I think this could be a cute little top or something.
Yeah.
But it feels absolutely wonderful. It's just so this is when you think of silk, this is what you think of. But this had original store tags on it, claiming that the skirt sold for $200, and I really hope there's no one out there who bought this skirt for $200. I paid $14. Oh. And I love this. I had to rope this color. I love this like kind of purpley color happening. I want to like try to make use of some of this when I remake it into something.
I thought it would be a beautiful blouse.
But that's my second skirt. And then now this one is like a long skirt. Ooh. And I'm very surprised that it's unlined, because it is pretty much see-through. And I think I already know what I want this to be. I have an idea. We're going to see if I can make it happen. But again, 100% silk. And for all 3 skirts together, I paid I think $32. So I just felt very lucky to have found them. I think they're beautiful. And now that they're all spiffed up, I can't wait to turn them into a thing or a few things.
I was really surprised. You see how especially that silvery one is really just glittering and shining? It was amazing, the difference just that quick wash you did made. Because it didn't look dull or dirty. It didn't look it, but after she washed it, this thing started to shine in the sun. I was like, wow.
So it was an accidental thrift. I really didn't intend to buy anything. We hadn't been over to the Mercantile since we left.
Yeah.
Since we moved out. So I was just like, oh, hey, you guys want to go over there? And I found some silk skirts. Silk!
So I think that's going to be one of your regular haunts.
I will definitely check her out again.
Yeah.
Because her store has that whole bohemian theme, she tends to do like silk and cotton and linen. So a lot of her things are that she has a lot of big flowy garments too. So if I'm looking for like fabric, I'm looking for yardage, she will often have, big oversized garments like caftans and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she might be an interesting spot to check out when I'm looking for something unusual.
The full name is Caravan Bohemian Boutique.
And it's on Creek Road in Mount Laurel. It's upstairs on the second floor.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Second floor. It's run by a lovely woman named Amy. Very nice.
Amy's cool peeps. So, dropped a few coins in her bucket. And I got some beautiful silk. And I can't wait. I've been sewing with, polyester and rayon, and like denim was a big step up for me. So, I'm just like, oh my God, actual silk. I can't wait. I think like the silver and white one here, I think I already know what it's going to be after, I have a thing in my head, but actually sewing it, see how that goes.
Is it going to be a Lutterlow creation?
It's going to be like a hybrid.
Oh.
We'll see how it goes.
Wow. Okay. You are getting ambitious as all get out.
I am.
Okay. You go, girl. I encourage that. And it's silky. It feels like exactly what you would imagine it to feel like. I am kind of loving it. How is your wool walk tea going?
It's almost done. I just realized I made a mistake. So I'm like using the colors in a certain order. Mm-hmm. And so I finished the front, but on the back I accidentally switched the order. So I just had to rip out one color. I was supposed to do like A, B, C, D, and I did A, B, D. So I had to rip out D and put C in its place. But I had to do 18 rows of the color. I had 16 when I ripped out, and now I have 14 rows of the right color. So I'm almost back to, finishing the color.
Cool.
So
cool.
It'll be fun. But yeah, she's just coming along.
Did you work out the difference in the weight of your yarn?
There really, really wasn't much. I didn't do anything special. Okay. The thing is, so I'm using this gray yarn, and the other colors that I'm using are more or less like surrounded on three sides by the gray. So the gray is still really dominant in terms of setting the gauge for the garment. So I don't know. It hasn't been an issue. And a lot of them are close enough in their weight that, I don't know, it just hasn't been an issue.
And you had enough of the gray to spread throughout the sweater like that?
We're going to find out. Oh. I'm coming into the home stretch of the back of the sweater. And it's a tank top, really. And I feel like what's going to happen, because the way it worked out, I'm doing gray all on one side.
Yeah.
And then striping the other colors on the other side.
Oh, neat.
And so that ends up with one shoulder strap being gray and the other shoulder strap being a different color. I feel like I'm going to run out of the gray right as I get to my shoulder strap. I will just fudge it. I'll pick another gray yarn or something, and I will have a make it work designer moment. But I'm really just not terribly worried about it. I will just stick another yarn in its place. I'm so close to the end.
Mm-hmm. It will be. I'm absolutely positive.
I'm quite sanguine about this topic.
That it will be fine.
Whatever happens, cool runnings mean peace be the journey.
All right. All right. Okay. I'm gonna just. Wow. I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming.
I didn't even have the peach wine.
I know. Oh well, I picked up some peach wine yesterday. I told you guys we do sit and stitch, right? We do it online. We've been doing it on Zoom since like March of 2020, and one of the regulars that comes almost every week is this lady named Emma from England. If you've seen this, hello, how you doing? But she happened to be in town, so we got together on Saturday and just had a little impromptu.
Oh, you bring your carrot.
Oh, I don't have my carrot. You know what's in my project bag?
Emma made everybody little crochet carrots, and Lisa has a purple carrot, and my mom has an orange carrot.
The funny thing is,
and they have little faces.
the carrot story is hilarious because she made her mother a bunch of carrots for Mother's Day.
Were
Was it
these the
Mother's
same
Day or
carrots?
birthday? Yeah, it was
So she
those.
didn't hide them
She did. She hid them all over the house.
and then got them back?
No, she made new carrot. No,
Oh, okay.
it's the same carrot,
Pattern.
pattern. Yes.
Okay, I'm like,
And there was
we
also a
have her
giant.
mother's carrots?
There's also a giant carrot. It was a whole carrot theme, so she made us carrots too, and we were all totally charmed. It was wonderful. But while we were there, when we were leaving, we stopped at another little shop in the area, called Rancocas Wood Supply, and I got some peach wine. That was
Is it peach and mango? Or
yes, it's peach and mango wine.
She bought candy wine.
Right. That's how I like my wine. I like my wine sweet. I'm not a dry wine person. I'm like, if I do that when I sip the wine, it's a bad experience for me. I like a nice sweet
she bought
wine.
The Kool-Aid of wines, but she loves it.
I did. I made a wine spritzer today. It was wonderful. I had some seltzer water in the fridge, so I mixed it into my wine, and it was the perfect sweetness. It wasn't overly sweet, but it still had that wonderful fruity flavor. So definitely try. If you're ever in the area, check out Rancocas Wood Supply. They have wine and chocolate. Yes.
What else do you need? Right?
I mean, 2 of the 4 food groups.
What are the other 2?
Caffeine and fat.
Oh, God.
There you go. Wine, chocolate, caffeine, and fat. What else do you need in this world?
Cardiologist. Okay.
Well then. I said it.
Oh, there you go.
I said it.
You should put that on a t-shirt.
You know what? I'll put that in my notes. Don't be mad when I get the t-shirts. She'll be like, they say you didn't. And I'm like, wait, it was your idea. If you would like a wine, chocolate, caffeine, and fat t-shirt, let me know in the comments, okay?
So... Okay, I don't even know what we're talking about next. I'm at a loss.
Well, I was following a conversation on Twitter.
Oh, the whiners, right?
I wouldn't call them that.
Go ahead.
I might have a less kind word, but all right. There were some people, the patterns are too expensive conversation came up again.
Let me ask you a question. Do any of these people have a suggestion for what they think patterns should cost?
Aside from $0?
Or is it just generally just any dollar amount seems to be too expensive?
Well, your typical pattern runs somewhere between $5 and $8.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel that is too much. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding. One person brought up that take a look at sewing patterns. Your typical sewing pattern costs $15. And, just as much work, if not more work, goes into a knitting pattern or a crochet pattern as a sewing pattern. So what's wrong in the knitting industry that prices for patterns are so low? I don't know what's wrong in the knitting industry that pattern prices are kept so low. I think sometimes designers are afraid to price their patterns appropriately. I noticed a couple of designers, they just made all their prices higher, like between $15 and $20 for a pattern. And I think that's a little bit more appropriate because you can use the pattern more than once if you wish.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that do. Some people make the same things over and over again in different styles. And just to get a decent hourly rate, you have to charge more than $5 for a pattern.
I wonder if any of these people who are complaining rolled up in their gas station and yelled at somebody talking about the price of gas was too high, or if they just filled their car and left.
I think most of them just filled their cars and left.
I think it costs what it costs, and you either buy it or you don't. And I feel like it's just that simple. We all want things that we can't afford. That's the way of things. I don't understand why people will accept any price from some sort of corporation. But when an individual business person prices their merchandise, oh, it's always too much. Why do you have more respect for this corporate entity that has no respect for you?
But you know
than
what?
you do for an individual business person.
I mean, do you think it's also a little bit of misogyny?
I
Because
I think honestly, it's straight up jealousy.
I,
I do. I think there are people who feel like, this designer can do a thing that I can't, and you feel a way about the fact that this person has a skill that you don't. So you try to chop them down by telling them that what they do isn't really valuable, even though you were stuck without them because you're not designing your own sweaters.
because I do recall one day this woman came into the store and she said she only needed a little bit of yarn. So could I cut some off for her from her ball? And I was like, no.
There's this idea, I think, that, artists in any field are having fun, like that their job is just a thing that they love to do, and so that basically it should just be their gift to the world for some reason. Nope, it's work, it's a job.
Do you remember that day when the woman demanded a button from Pat Ruth? There was a lady downstairs from our store. She also had a shop, and she did different kinds of needle arts. So she taught punch needle, and I believe there was some embroidery and felting.
Mm-hmm.
And she sold, supplies and that sort of thing. And she sold, buttons. And this woman said, "Well, I need this button." And she just tried to leave with the button. The buttons were for sale. The buttons were like, just a little bit for the button. But you had to purchase the button. And the woman made such a fuss because Pat Ruth said she had to pay for the button. And I
mean, it's a store.
It is a store. I was perplexed. But then it happened to me where this woman was like, "Well, I only need a little bit of that. So can you just cut some off of one ball?" So what do I do with that ball after you're gone?
See, it's your problem.
It is my problem. I was like, no, I can't do that. You need to purchase the entire ball.
But there's just a lack of respect for like individual people running a business, particularly in any kind of artistic endeavor. It's just, I personally think there's kind of like an underlying layer of jealousy seeding it. I really do. That you get to do this thing that you enjoy and that you have this skill, and I participate in this field and don't have the same skill, and I feel away.
I don't know what it is, but that is a theory. I'm just always, how something just really perplexes you when you run across it. I'm like,
patterns cost what they cost. Everybody who puts out a pattern is going to charge what they cost. Some people put out patterns for free. Some people will charge a whole bunch. Some people will charge something in the middle. And you either buy the pattern or you don't. I don't understand where all the pissing and moaning comes from.
That's
you either buy the pattern or you don't. That is it.
Some of the designers were saying that they were actually getting, nasty emails about the cost of their patterns. And I'm like, but here's my thing about that. There are so many free patterns available.
No,
you don't have to use...
The free patterns aren't good enough, and I'll tell you why. Because we got to make the trendy thing. We got to make the thing that this person's making. We have to make the thing that's all over Instagram. We have to make the thing that's popular right now. So all these people who are complaining, they have a full stash in the Ravelry, a whole bunch of patterns that they just had to have, and those patterns are popular. Mm-hmm. Most of which they've never made, but now they want this pattern. They want the latest Andrea Mowry. They want the latest Joji Locatelli. They want this pattern now. And so they big mad.
And like I said, I also think there's a misogyny element because you know who you never hear complaining about the price of his patterns? Stephen West doesn't complain about getting complaints about the price of his patterns. People just pony up to pay whatever he asks for them.
I'm sure people do complain, especially with them kits he be selling. I ain't buy a kit, and I'm a little mad, but it's okay. I'm like, really? That's what you charge people? Okay. But because it's all women complaining.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. But the bottom line is pattern costs what it costs. And you either buy it or you don't. That is true of everything. You go to the grocery store. Milk costs what it costs. You either buy milk or you don't. You go to a hair salon. You want your hair done. The stylist charges what she charges. And that's it. You pay or you don't. You go somewhere else to get your hair cut. Like, I don't understand why we think we can badger individual business people into meeting. I've been saying a long time, the demands placed on pattern designers have gotten way out of hand, so that they're expected to, first of all, just produce at a ridiculous pace.
Yeah.
And always have something new coming out. Charge either nothing or next to nothing. Be on call in perpetuity to answer questions about patterns they may have put out years ago. Recommend all the different yarns at all the different price points.
Yeah, that was a conversation
and have
last year.
Video instruction for how to make the thing. I mean, no. Just no. So at this point, having heard this so much, I'm terribly unsympathetic, especially because I ain't got no money and I'm making my thing work in my price point. You know, I wanted silk fabric. I bought some thrifted skirts. I didn't go to Mood and say, well, I want this silk fabric for free, damn it.
I need this silk.
He just cut me off a yard of that.
Yeah, cut me off a yard. I just need a little.
Like, no. You know, I'm figuring out a way to make it work for me. And there's no one else in the world who's responsible for your budget. You have to make your budget work for you. And we all have to make trade-offs and decide what we're going to give up in order to have what we want, because most of us don't have the money for everything we want. So, you know, it's not on the designer to address that concern for you. That is on you. You need to sit down and do your back of the envelope calculations and figure out what you can afford and make that work. Save up. If you know you like a certain designer and their patterns are a little bit pricier, save for that, budget for that, plan when you can buy X number of patterns for them. Wait until they have sales.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to make that work for you.
There's a lot of things you can do, though. Most designers, if you're on their mailing list, which is generally speaking free, when they first put out a pattern, they offer a discount on the pattern.
You can also pattern test.
Yeah.
And that's a way to get these patterns for free. I know several people who that's one of the reasons they do pattern testing. It gets them free patterns. They get the patterns early and they get to learn new techniques.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are ways to make this work. Badgering designers is not one of them.
Yeah. I mean, when they started talking about it, it was a little shocking, actually, to see that people would go to these extremes. And, you know, one woman got brigaded. You know, it was kind of nuts. And I'm like, this is over a knitting pattern. What? So I don't know what the solution is, but I do think that
the solution is designers should charge what they feel they need to charge.
Me too. That was my advice.
People will buy your things or they won't. And me personally, I mean, it depends on how nasty you want to be about it. Because anytime I got a nasty email, I would just publish it online so let everybody see. Because maybe that would shame the next person who was planning to send you a nasty email. So if you want to like call out some of the crap you're getting, feel free to do that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't suffer in silence.
Exactly. But charge what you charge. Charge what you believe your work is worth. If this is your living, you have to be able to buy your food and pay your bills with the money you make. So you have to charge enough for that. That's just the reality. And not everyone's going to be your customer. You got to let go of this idea that you can reach everyone at every level, every price point. If you want to offer certain paths, like if you think you can do socks cheaper than you can do a sweater, you can charge a little bit less for your sock patterns than your sweater pattern. But charge what you need to charge. And the people who are complaining the loudest, there was a dyer who was getting some crap from somebody, and that person said they didn't want to buy the bag from her, but then her sister got a bag, and she tried to make her sister give it back because she still wanted what that dyer had to offer.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So you know what? Some of the people who are whining will still buy the pattern anyway.
Yeah, they'll just try you first.
Exactly.
They will just try you first.
Exactly.
So, and the sad fact is, and this is something we had to learn, not every customer is worth having. There are customers you need to fire. So they're more trouble than they're worth to deal with. When everyone else you deal with is perfectly pleasant, you know, and sensible, why would you want to spend extra time and effort and aggravation dealing with someone who is not even a little reasonable?
And maybe designers want to experiment with just some sort of like loyalty program, so that when someone buys X number of patterns for you, they can earn like a free or a half price pattern or something like that, so that the customers who are repeatedly supporting you do get a little something back.
Yeah, and check out Patreon, because a number of designers have a whole Patreon system. So if you support them with $1 or $5 a month or something like that, you will either get early access to patterns or get a discount on your patterns. They have all kinds of things going on. So that's another avenue you can take too, to sort of cut the cost of your crafting. Because I know yarn crafts are not cheap. I don't know any crafts that are cheap at this point. Right now, making a macaroni necklace is kind of pricey. Right now, you're not giving the kids macaroni. It costs too much. So I know we've always been on the lookout for, sniffing out deals.
Oh, by the way, Michaels no longer takes competitors' coupons. Just found that out the hard way.
Found that out.
Because I was just thinking about how we used to make that work. And we'd take our 160% off and hit all 3 stores and get 60% off something we wanted at each store. But Michaels, apparently sometime during the pandemic, they stopped accepting competitor coupons. Yeah. And I rolled up with my big old 40% off and did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I think they're all doing that now. Joann's.
Yeah, I haven't tried a competitive coupon at Joann's, but I know for sure Michaels.
Didn't the cashier tell us that they weren't?
I don't know. I just know for sure Michaels does not accept competitive coupons anymore.
Yeah, we used to live for the 60s. You get a 60% off. It was a reason to saddle up and ride. Okay. And we would take that around, and you had your eye on something, so like, give me that right over there.
But you have to make your budget work for you. It's not up to anyone else to make your budget work.
Yeah, they started to talk about the pay what you would like pricing too, and I think that's going to go away soon, because some of the designers are finding that it's not really working.
I think maybe it's something you do on some patterns. Yeah, not all patterns. Or like, say you do a sweater and then you do a matching hat for that sweater. The sweater would be full price, but then do pay what you like for the hat or something like that. I think that would be a way to...
You know what? Somebody complained about that too. That she said that some designers are taking the same stitch pattern and putting it on various kinds of articles and then charging a separate price for each one. And I'm thinking to myself, can you do that?
I was just saying, like...
Can you take a stitch pattern that's written flat and translate it into the round to make a hat? Can you make it bigger or smaller?
Here I am thinking that it's nice that the designers make sets.
Yeah.
Because you know what I was thinking? Oh, that was the thing I wanted to talk about that I forgot. So I had a thing I wanted to show y'all and I forgot it. But
what?
Basically, a lot of the Korean crocheters on YouTube make bags, but like really, really nice handmade. And we're not even going to talk about the Japanese woman who made that beautiful parasol.
Yeah, I forgot about the parasol.
It was so beautiful.
She made a gorgeous
bought
parasol.
Like an empty umbrella frame, which is apparently a thing you can buy in Japan. And she just crocheted a beautiful umbrella frame, cover for it, and made a stunning and absolutely stunning parasol. And now crochet parasols are all I can think about.
I want a parasol in the worst freaking way now. I see myself in my mind walking in the park with my parasol.
Anyway, squirrel. But I was going to tell you about bags. So bags are a very popular thing apparently among Korean crocheters, and they make some really beautiful, not like your basic bags, like not just like tote bags or what have you.
Yeah.
Really like beautiful hand bags that you can carry as like your actual purse. And in one of those videos, we saw a bag base. So it's the bottom of the bag, has a little feet on it. It's like a faux leather, but it has holes all around the edge so that you can stitch into that and then build your bag off of that. And I always struggle with the bottom of the bag because I always wanted it to be really secure. And now that I know about these things, oh, I'm about to be a whole entire bag lady, because I'm starting to think, what if I made bags to match all my sweaters?
Oh God. You just set me off on a tangent. Oh no. Yes, I want that.
So I might be getting into bags, y'all.
Crystal, you might have just gotten me into bags.
And they have like different sizes and different shapes. So they have like the ones my mom just bought some, and she bought a 4-pack and we split them. So they had ovals.
Y'all didn't leave
circles.
one for me?
Did you want that?
Yes.
Oh.
The things that go on in this house.
They have squares. They have all different shapes and sizes right on Amazon. So now I feel like that would make it easier for me to make bags.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna be getting into bags.
You break out your Stitch Dictionary and you're good to go. Oh yeah, I want to make bags too. All right, let me just tell you something. You're not gonna have bags to match your sweaters, and I don't have bags to match my sweaters, and I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna make socks to match my sweater and bag.
All right, then I'll have to make a parasol.
I'm making a parasol. You're not gonna be the only one here.
Did you just say if you make a parasol, I'll make a parasol?
I'm just telling you what's gonna happen. Because you're not gonna be the only heifer up in here parasoling. Oh no.
Well, we will see. But I had this thought. I did, and I'm really excited about it. Oh my gosh. I'm wondering though, like, I'm thinking this would be a good thing to do with some of my yarns that I haven't wanted to make clothing out of, either because they're acrylic and they don't breathe, or because it's kind of a scratchier kind of wool or something. So I'm also thinking that, these bags would be a great way for me to use up yarns that I have that I like, that I think are pretty, but are not necessarily practical for garment making.
Yeah.
So
that might be a solution for your acrylics. Yeah.
I think so.
And you'll have scraps. You can do linings and all of that in. I did not know you guys already split the bag bases.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I got the nod. Like, oh, come to my room. You know how Grandma used to do.
Oh, no. You got the nod?
I got the nod.
Oh. Oh. I feel away now.
So we're greedy, right? So we buy snacks, we eat up all the snacks. Our grandmother used to have to like save some snacks for herself from us because we ate all the snacks, right? So my grandmother she'd come home, she had a little brown paper bag, and we all knew it was a brown paper bag, but no one ever touched the brown paper bag. No one looked in the brown paper bag, no one asked about the brown paper bag.
Nope.
And she would put the brown paper bag on the shelf in her room, and it would just sit there, and no one acknowledged brown paper bag until one day Grandma would say to you, "Come to my room." And you just said, "Yes, Grandma." And you followed her, and then she cracked open the brown paper bag, and it could be cashew nuts, it could be peppermints. You never knew what exactly she had. But when she was ready to share, that's when you got some. So sometimes you got the nod. So when the bag bases came, I got the nod.
Oh, I feel away.
You know what? Mommy and I were watching the video together, so we were both in the know.
Well, Crystal did a really cool thing for me, though, because the Korean crochet and Japanese crochet is really cool. She made my keyboard able to translate in Korean and showed me the word for knitting, so I could look up Korean knitters and see what they were up to. They're up to all kinds of great stuff. All right. There's plenty of them on YouTube. Check it out. they're doing some amazing things. And
Really.
even if you can't understand what they're saying, you can see exactly what
Every
they're
once in a
doing.
while, you come across someone who does do English subtitles, but just watch.
Just watch.
Pay attention.
I watch crafters who speak all kinds of other languages because knitting is my second language. So if I can see what they're doing,
as long as they have a good
along.
camera angle,
yeah,
you're fine.
So, and that goes for crocheters too. I've watched Turkish crocheters, well, Turkish knitters, various
Turkish
Hindi
crocheters are doing some beautiful stitch patterns.
Oh yeah,
and I'm just like, wow. And then I found a woman. Her channel is called Bags Crochet, and I don't even know what language she's speaking, but her bags are beautiful. She uses like a nylon rope most of the time to crochet bags, and just gorgeous.
So don't feel like you need to just watch people who are doing things in English, because there are crafters out there doing amazing work. And just even if it's just for inspiration, you can see something and it just turns your mind in a whole nother direction. And that's why we both have a passion now
the only thing
for parasols.
Is, like, I don't know if some languages don't have two separate words for knitting and crochet, or if they just, not everyone learns the two different English words, but sometimes everything will say knitting, or sometimes the description will say crochet knitting.
Yes.
So it can be a little tricky if you're just trying to do a search for that. But once you happen upon someone,
YouTube will keep serving it up to you. That's why we get commercials in Spanish and sometimes Chinese, because we watch things in Spanish and a lot of Chinese dramas. They're good. All right.
The one about the husband was cute.
Yeah. I'm waiting for My Heroic Husband 2 to come out. They were supposed to film it 2021. I hope they were able to do it.
Yeah, that's what's going on with me. I got sewing dreams and crochet plans, and I'm just like,
so come fall, if you hear us talking about knitting or crocheting or parasols, don't say we didn't tell you it was going to happen.
And you know what? Like, it really didn't look that difficult.
I don't think it was that difficult at all.
But I would need to find a frame.
You know where to get a frame.
I would need to find a frame.
Okay, you just go to a Great Satan Bezos and you'll probably be able to order one.
But I think that's so cool. It was something I would never think to look for at a craft store. But what if they sell them at Daiso?
The actual frame, I would be very surprised, because I didn't see anything that specific at Daiso for crafting. They had very general craft supplies, but you know where you can get one, because that's where I'm gonna get mine. I call them a Great Satan, but I order. I do. I have no pride.
Don't admit it. Oh my God.
I have to admit it. I mean, I got no pride. No pride, no shame. It's very convenient.
I can't.
But those are the things on our knitting and sewing horizons. So I can't wait to give it a try.
Let's see what I'm dealing with here, right? Okay.
You got anything else?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're done for the night.
We've embarrassed ourselves enough for today.
Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Toodles.
Oh.